Hello everybody, I am Paradox Gamer. Welcome to Operational Art of War 4. A game that has been out for about a few months now, but it's a quite complicated game, so I've had some time getting used to it. And so hopefully I can show something here that is not completely horrible. Let's go for a new game. So what we see here is a lot of available scenarios. These are just the early scenarios that you see here. Where is the... Yeah, here you can see all kind of different scenarios. We have World War I, for example. All these are World War I scenarios. And World War II, which is divided up into Asia, Mediterranean, West Front, and so forth. So a lot of scenarios in each of these folders here. There is also pre-World War I, which is the one that we want to start with, and modern era, Asia, Middle East, and also some hypothetical studies. Modern NATO versus Warsaw Pact. So what I intend to do here is start in the earliest times, which is the pre-World War I scenarios, which we have here. And the first one in order of date would be Call to Arms 1775, which is the American War for Independence. But this scenario is, I believe, 129 turns, something like that. I don't know, it says here somewhere. So it's a huge scenario with a huge map. So I think I'm gonna skip this for now, and I'll get back to it later on. And we'll take the Napoleonic scenarios instead, starting in 1805 with La Grande Armée. And then we'll work our way up to through the 18th century and into the 20th century. Then we'll take World War I, World War II, and so forth. So that way we start with the most basic units, the infantry, cavalry, stuff like that, and then we'll add tanks, we'll add airplanes, helicopters, nuclear weapons, and so forth as we go up in time. So La Grande Armée 1805, and we have to choose the sides here. So this is, let's see, this one is French computer. We want to be Napoleon, of course. So I think this one is the pop-ups are not always it says down here, third coalition computer versus human player. Yeah, so that's the one we want to do. There are many options we can turn on and off. I'm just going to leave it as it is, which means high supply is off. There's no play by email, and new mud and snow rules are off. I'm not going to go too much into detail with all these options. There is a lot of options available. Let's just go and get this started. So here we go, preparing for a new turn. French turn 1, this is September 25th, 1805. And so the designer has some game option preferences in this one, which will override whatever I would have picked in the previous screen. That means fog of war will always be on in this game, environmental conditions on, etc, etc. You can though override it, but if you do, and you, for example, you play by email, your opponent will be aware of that. So let's get the situation briefing here. I'm the French player. This is turn 1, September 25th, 1805. This game should end on turn 16. Approximately turns remaining 16, but this is not always the case. The game can go on further than 16 turns if the right conditions are met. So let's see here. Force proficiency is 100%. That means we have a well-organized war machine. Usually this one is lower than 100%. I don't know if it can be higher than that though. Stockpile is 30. No special weapons are used, you know, chemicals and nuclear. This is not the time for that. Theater reconnaissance capability is 10%. That means we will get some reconnaissance, but not a lot. There's no air transport and all that stuff. So, in the victory conditions, the enemy held objectives value 99, and we hold 0. So right now, the victory level is -99, which is an overwhelming defeat. So we have to go and get some of those victory hexes. Short news summary: September 25th, 1805. Austria and Russia join in Third Coalition. Napoleon attacks across Rhine with 7 corps. So let's just, before we get into it, since this is my first Operation Out of War game, I'm not going into all the details, but let's just to get an overview of what's going on here. Up here we have the panel that shows the current selected unit, its current status, its attack and defense values, its current supply, etc. That's up here. This one we're not really gonna use. And then down here we have all the buttons that we choose to view different things. For example, you can check out army organizations and stuff like that. There's also on the map here we can add the weather, for example. As you can see, different weather situations. We can add supplies, so you can see how much supply that you have around you. Here we turn the hexagons on and off. I prefer to have them on. Reports, all sorts of reports that we will not go into right now. We can get to that later on. Also on the map we can see that we can zoom in and out. So this is basically southern Germany and Austria. This over here is Baden-Württemberg and Bavaria. Bavaria here, Austria with Tyrol down here, the Alps, and we have Vienna over here, Austerlitz, Brno, and so forth up here, and Prague up here. So the numbers that you see are the victory objectives and how much they're worth. And we start with the French army over here in France proper. We have also the French First Corps under Bernadotte, which in starting in Germany. And the French are divided, sorry, the Austrians are divided into several units. We have the attacking units coming through southern Germany. They are near Ulm. We have John's units in Tyrol. They can come up. And then we have the rest of the Austrians and also the Russians, which are trying to rush in to help out. But they'll be coming from the Carpathian Mountains over here and through the Czechoslovakian area. So that's the map. We can zoom in and out. Let's zoom back in to this level. I like to play on this level here. So let's take a look at our units. Starting with the First Corps under Bernadotte. So this is a corps level unit. You can see by the 3 X's. It has an attack value of 18 and a defensive value of 16. These are not the actual strength numbers of the unit, but a calculated strength point based on supply and defensive stances and stuff like that. So this is the number that you see is the current strength of the actual unit moving around. If that makes, I hope that makes sense. They are accompanied by pontonniers, which is engineers, bridge engineers. This is only a regiment. And the green marker you see in the top right corner is their current overall status, which is the same color as this green plus that you see over here. And this is the overall capability of the unit, which is currently 99. I don't know why there's no pop-ups. I don't remember turning them off. So I don't get any pop-ups right now, so I have to remember all this in my head. I believe this is supply over here. I can't remember exactly what this is. Oh, it says down in the bottom, proficiency 80. Proficiency health pie. This is readiness, and this is supply. Yeah, so these three numbers together, plus the current strength and defense unit, makes up the health of unit, which is 99, which is good. And that is easily seen here by the green dot in the top right corner. The two dots on the left side announces the willingness of the unit to commit. So we can change that here to minimize losses. If we do that, then there will only be one dot, as you can see changed there. Limit losses, 2 dots. If you don't care about losses at all, you can go for ignore losses and have 3 dots. I like to keep it on limited losses unless something specifically has to be done, in which case we can throw in all the bodies. You can also change the counters easily by clicking on this one here. No, this one here. And then you get the movement factor of the current unit. So this is attack and defense values, and this is the movement value of the unit. It's all displayed up here as well. And as we can see, movement is 18 for the first corps, but 21 for the train. But they use more points to move around than the infantry corps does. One thing I would have liked to have in this game is the ability to deselect units. I can select another unit by clicking over here. Oh, there we go. But I cannot deselect. So the only way to do it is to just click another one. So I always have these red arrows moving around when I use the cursor. That's why I prefer to move around with the buttons instead. Anyway, over here we have the 2nd Corps by Marmont, also with the bridge train near Frankfurt. Further down south, here we have 3rd Corps Davout, also with a bridge train and some extra cavalry. This is the 3rd Dragoon Division. Down here we have the 4th Corps from Soult, bridge train. And the 6th Corps Ney with bridge train and 1st Dragoon Division. Further down south, this is the 5th Corps Land with bridge train. And in here we have a supply train that we can carry with us, which is very, very good to have. Also 2nd Heavy Cavalry in there. And then further down to the south we have the 1st Heavy Cavalry Division. And then back here, this is the headquarters, Napoleon's Grand Armee, along with the Imperial Guard, which is only a brigade, as you can see here by the 2 axes. It's actually, no, that's a division. That's a division, but not a corps. And there's also 4th Dragoon Division. Alright, so what we can see, what we have spotted so far, is that down here we have some infantry. In Ulm we have some headquarters and some extra infantry. Oh, no need to go in there. Also we have some infantry over here and in Ratisbon there's also some infantry. But this is only what our reconnaissance has told us. There's a lot more to it than that. So our overall strategy here is pretty much to do the same thing that Napoleon did in real life, which is to overwhelm the Austrian units near Ulm. And speed is obviously of the essence. Head on to München, and from there head straight east to Vienna, and then north to Bern. Now, this is not easily done, I can tell you. There's a lot of Austrian units, there's a lot of Russian units coming in as well, and they have more units than you do as the French. And they also want to get in behind you. I know that John's units in Innsbruck, at some point when you've passed Munich, he will come up and try and retake some of the stuff. So we have to be aware of that. Also, Austria will send units through Germany into our rear. So we have to be careful. So as we move forward, we need to station units along the Donau to guard against enemy counterattacks, while we still keep up the pace to reach Vienna in about 10 turns or so, and then still have some time left to head north and take the remaining victory points. So we are in quite a hurry here, but we cannot move too fast, then we will get enemy units behind us and our supplies will be cut. So let's start with the first corps up here, and we want to head them to Ratisbon, which is an important Donau crossing. We want to take Ratisbon so that we can move down behind the Austrians towards Munich. So Bernadotte's first corps is scheduled to head through this way, and we'll just use we can use the single move or group move. If we choose the group move, we'll also move the bridge train, and what happens is the bridge train will then stop moving once it's exhausted its movement points, but the infantry corps will continue moving forward. So we might as well just take the group move, and you can see them moving down like this. So the bridge training can only go to here, and the corps can go to there. So what we have focused on now is movement. I'm going to click that back to strength. And as we can see now, the French first corps here is that the readiness has dropped from 100 to 89, and supplies has dropped from 100 to 82. So our overall stat, as you can see here, is now 88 instead of 99. Or 90 or whatever it was before. And that's simply because by moving in this time frame, you lose a lot of readiness. You got stragglers, you got, you know, all kinds of stuff happening while you march your soldiers at max pace from here to here. But the readiness will be regained when you don't do anything. So we can get it back up. And what you see here, the border is the current border between us and the enemy, and the reason why it is like this is because of fog of war. For example, we know that this is where we've been right now, so this is our territory. But as we move through, we lose know-how of the areas that we've already passed through. So enemy units could get in there without us knowing about it, and I think that's a really cool feature of this game. We also have the Bavarian Corps, which is led by De Roy, and we want them to come down this way as well. Actually, I want the Germans in Ratisbon, so we'll just move them. I think we'll move them through Ansbach just so that we take Ansbach as well. This is a Prussian enclave. There we go. So now we have two areas of supply that can move forward like that. So over here the main force is going to head to Ulm with as many units as possible. We want to just push through Ulm because it's a very important crossing of the Donau River. So we're just gonna simply push our units all the way. This is 6 Corps heading to Ulm, and we'll just bring the bridge trains along as far as they can move, and also the cavalry. Now we bump into some infantry stationed in front of Ulm, and I think we do not want to attack them right now. We want some extra units, and then we want the cavalry to come around this way. So let's send in some extra guys. This will be the 4th Corps of Soult, which will move up here. They also have a bridge train, and they'll just follow as far as they can. Oh, I chose the single unit. Okay, we can move the bridge train over there. Now this cavalry unit will head through Heidelberg, and then down this way, so we get some extra paths that we can take. Back here we have Lance Corps. They will also move up, but they can't get. They have to go through the forest here. It takes longer, but they can go to Stuttgart. Just single move, and then move the bridge train up this way. That way they can stay together. Then we have the supply train, which is just gonna go as far as it can. Which will be up here. Okay, they can go to there. And then we have some extra cavalry. These guys are gonna head through Freiburg. And then we're gonna send them through the forest here. And this cavalry is also gonna come this way. Now we still have the 3rd Corps up here, TOAW. I think we're gonna send them down this way. Just do the group move. Alright. And then we have Napoleon. Move him as far up as possible, which is here. And the Imperial Guard. Imperial Guard can go a little bit further, so let's get them over there. The music is a little bit off sometimes, yeah, that's fine. And then some extra cavalry, which we're gonna send through to here. So those are all our moves. No, we still have these guys. Marmont. Let's get them down this way. Or we could send them over there. No, we're gonna send them down this way. Forgot the bridge train. Let's get that as far as possible, which is here. Okay, those were all the moves. So, well, oh no, that's not all the moves. We still have the actual battle planned to plan down here. This is an Austrian corps on the way, and we have 2 corps here. So what we can do is click on it, and if it's too weak, then it will simply just retreat, taking losses in the process. So we're gonna move the 4th Corps up as well. So this corps moved out of the way. I could chase them down, but there's no need for that. The Ulm is the grand objective here. So now we click on it, we can see we don't push them out automatically. So we can instead plan an attack. And that takes us to the combat planner. In the combat planner, you can see this is the hex that we're attacking, and there's 6 hexes around it with the actual depiction of the terrain in it. Then you can click on your units here if you want them to participate in the attack, and then you get a summary down here. You can see that the Third Coalition has 47 assault action points, and we only have 30. So the probability of success is very poor. So we'll get the other corps in as well. That takes us to 53 out of 47. This success is still very poor. But we're going to go ahead anyway and see if we can push them out of Ulm in the first turn. That would be great. If not, we'll just simply they'll take some losses. As you can see when scrolling through, they have 1 corps of the strength of 8 plus another brigade. So we're going to plan that attack, and then we're going to hit the button over here, and then the attack will be resolved. And nothing happened. They stayed put. So now it's the coalition's turn 1. So they moved some extra units in there. We saw that into Ulm, and now it's turn 2. So Ulm has been reduced to ruins. Third Coalition successfully defend Ulm, and October 2nd, 1805, Austrians march towards the Black Forest. Okay. So now we'll throw some extra units into this battle. But the units that are coming from behind, they will expend movement points as they move through. And if they participate in the battle, there will be fewer rounds to fight, because the game is taking into account that these guys have already moved. But we need those guys in the battle, so we're gonna move the 4th Corps and the Imperial Guard up. And I believe we'll get Napoleon in there as well. And they will try and plan an attack here. So now we can see we have a lot more units. And we're gonna click them all. And the success rate is still rated as poor. But we're gonna go for it anyway. Meanwhile, we have other units marching through to the north of this position. So I want the 2nd Corps Marmont to come down and fight the Austrians here. Again, the success rate is very poor, but we're gonna go ahead and do it anyway. And then we're gonna head towards Donauwörth, where we have some enemy units, but they will easily be dispatched. And then we can move some cavalry in to take it. So that's our first crossing of the Rhine. Sorry, the Donau. Now the Dragoons here, they can chase down the enemy units. That's the one that's in the top right corner. You can see it's Kienmeyer column 1, and its current status is 70, and our is 71. But if we do that, then the cavalry will follow them, and they will be alone on the other side of the river. So I don't think that's gonna be a thing that we want. The other thing we notice is that the pop-ups should actually be. I will do that for the next recording to get the pop-ups back, because what is difficult to see here is that the bridges are destroyed. I guess I can remove units from the map. How do we do that? I'm not sure. Anyway, bridges has been destroyed in Donauwörth, so we need our bridge trains to come in and fix them. So we'll move a bridge train in, right click, and then repair bridges. That should restore the bridges back to its former glory. We can move cavalry in behind Ulm and maybe participate in the attack. Just to get some extra push on that. Maybe these guys as well. But they don't have enough to actually participate. These guys can participate in the battle against these guys in here. And we have some extra cavalry. They can also participate in that battle. Like that. Bridge trains and supply trains will just move up closer. Get a bridge train in there, get a bridge train in there. And these bridge trains will just head there with the supply. And this one as well. That takes us up to the north, where we are heading towards Ratisbon. We know there's probably somebody in there, but it's a very weak enemy unit, so we'll... No, we can't push it out of the way. Okay, let's use the Germans then. And together we will push. There we go. Cooperation is weak. That's another thing in this game. The cooperation between units of different nationalities, but also can be units of different forces within the same nationality. They have a penalty when they cooperate together, as we can see here. So it goes from 1 to 2/3, which will hamper our attempts to attack. Now we are ready to engage in the planned battles, so we'll do that here. First battle is up in Ratisbon, and we push the enemies out of there. Then we have the battle north of Ulm, which we won, and then the more important battle of Ulm itself. And looks like this time we managed to push the Austrians out. And we still have 40% of our turn remaining, so that means we can conduct further attacks if we have enough movement for our units. So this guy here should be in really bad shape. He's in 59, and if I'm able to, I would like to attack him again. With this one. And maybe with... I don't think we have anything that can do anything. No, that's... Well, we have the cavalry. So that's these two units here. And let's see if any of the units in Ulm are still able to move. Yes, so we can push further beyond. With these two army corps helped out by the cavalry there. So they will push these guys further out of the way. Then we have the cavalry here, which I think will stay put. Yes. So further up to the north, near Ratisbon, the Germans will keep pushing these guys out of the way, but they are not gonna get out of the way just like that. So I guess we'll have to plan an attack and get the bridge train in there if they can. Yes, and start repairing the bridges, which is very, very important. Also here, if we have movement, I'm not sure if we can get the bridge... No, we cannot get the bridge trains through the zone of control. Maybe if we destroy this Austrian corps over here, we could do it. So let's conduct the attacks. Now we're pushing them further back. and near Ulm. We are pushing the Austrians further back there as well. No rounds left. That means it's now the Austrian turn 2. But what we can see here is the combat results. We can see approximately our friendly losses in each battle and the enemy losses. So the enemy is taking a lot more punishment than we do. Click here to switch sides. No, I don't want to switch sides. So let's move on with the third coalition turn 2. And they are moving back to Augsburg, it looks like. But we can't see all the enemy moves. I got reinforcements coming in. And also we can see here that Ratisbon has been reduced to ruins. French capture Ratisbon, French capture Ulm, and on October 9th, Kutuzov arrives 10 days late. So Kutuzov is in the theater somewhere. He'll be over here somewhere. So this is the tactical situation. We have the artillery incoming. We've taken Ratisbon, we've taken Donauwörth, and we've taken Ulm. So we have control of the crossings of the Donau now. Now is the question of finishing off the Austrians around Augsburg and take Munich. But if that's going to be in the next episode, I think we'll put a break in here. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like. You can also comment on the game if you have anything that I can do better in this game. If you know this game, please feel free to add comments below. If you have questions about the game, I will try and answer as best as I can. So, again, thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time as well. Take care, bye-bye.